Congressman Dan Kildee is on the line. He is representing the 5th District of Michigan, which I believe includes Flint. You can his website, Dan Kildee, DANKALDEE.house.gov. You can tweet him at Rep. Dan Kildee. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us. So you are fighting the good fight here on action on Flint before the end of the 114th Congress. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, in fact, I just walked off the floor. We had the final vote on the Water Resources Bill, which is the vehicle that included the $170 million that I have been fighting for Flint. It passed 360 to 61, a very strong vote in favor of relief for the people of my hometown of Flint. And, you know, on the last day of the session of the 114th Congress, the very last vote of the 114th Congress, finally, I mean, what can I say? Finally, help for my hometown. Now we have to get it through the Senate, but this is a big step forward.
Yeah, that's great. Are you concerned that? Well, first of all, I'm wondering on that particular piece of legislation, when the Senate sent it over to the House, there was language in there that required that any new water projects being done in the United States be done with American pipe, basically American, made in America provision. And I understand that the first thing Paul Ryan did was strip that out. When that bill passed, was it passed with or without that Buy America provision? Do you know?
We still have a temporary Buy America language in the legislation. The issue that we were fighting for, and I supported it, is to make permanent the Buy America language. That failed, unfortunately.
Right.
But you know, obviously, it's something that we will live to fight another day on. Honestly, for myself, my goal was to not ignore these other important priorities.
Sure.
But not put Flint in a position where everything else has to get done before Flint gets their relief.
Yeah, I absolutely understand. And
Flint and places like Flint kind of get used to being an afterthought. We didn't want to let that happen. So our focus, my sole focus, was getting the Flint relief through. Well,
and that's your job. I mean, the people of Flint elected you to represent them, and it sounds like you're doing a hell of a good job of it. I'm curious on the budget, the continuing resolution. There's this battle. You know, the House has passed a continuing resolution, sent it to the Senate, and now in the Senate, Sherrod Brown and Joe Manchin are saying that they're going to hold this thing up unless there's language inserted into it that takes the miners' health care from 4 months' worth of funding to a year's worth of funding. And the Republicans, who all campaigned on, trying to stop the war on coal and help the miners, are saying, no, we don't want to give the miners health care for a whole year. We'll give them 4 months, and they should be happy with that. And if that changes, if that language changes to a year, if Sherrod Brown and Joe Manchin get their way, they have to send that back to the House, don't they, for reconsideration?
They would. If they change the
reconciliation,
the continuing resolution, they'll have to send it back, and Congress will have to come back into session. My view on this is we have too many days off as it is. I mean, whenever we're not in session, I'm working. I'm back in Michigan meeting with my constituents.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, we quit a week early. We were supposed to be until the 16th, so no member of the House of Representatives should grumble if we get called back into session to deal with the change that the Senate made. Obviously, we want to get this done, but, we were supposed to be in, and if they call us back in, we'll have to go back.
Right. Any other issues in the top of your head, or did you want to talk about the Flint water crisis, the hashtag Flint water crisis, by the way, prior to the vote or now post the vote?
Well, I think now, for Flint, this is one big step. I think the most important thing for people to understand is that this water crisis was the result of state government failure almost entirely.
Okay.
And so as we now hopefully get this through the Senate and to the president's desk, we can actually turn our attention back to holding the state of Michigan responsible for fixing the rest of the problem. This is important, this big step forward today, but it doesn't solve the problem in its entirety. There's more work to be done, and the state just can't get off the hook.
Yeah.
We got to hold them accountable, and I hope all your listeners out there, people who are interested, will continue to raise their voices in calling on Rick Snyder and the state of Michigan to provide justice for the people of Flint, because they deserve it.
Right. Is anybody being held accountable in Michigan for poisoning the people of Flint?
There have been several people actually criminally charged, state officials who ignored or obfuscated information that would have prevented this crisis from being as bad as it was. My hope is that those investigating this will let the facts lead them wherever they may, all the way up the chain, wherever that takes them.
Yeah.
That's one form of justice. So there's the kind of justice that people from Flint get from getting the resources that we just delivered. There's justice coming in the form of holding individuals accountable. But we also have to make it right by making sure that the economic impact that Flint has faced as a result of this is also compensated. So we get help from the state. It has to be more than just health and pipes. It has to actually help this community get back on its feet with significant investment.
Yeah, there you go. Congressman Dan Kildee, he represents Michigan's 5th District. DanKildee.house.gov is the website. You can tweet him at Rep. Dan Kildee. Congressman, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Great talking with you. We'll be back with your calls and more in just a few minutes. We're coming up on 16 minutes before the hour. Stick around.